Hi, my name is Jasmine, and my book talk will be on The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. This book is a historical fiction novel. The author's purpose was to show how the Vietnam War impacted his fellow war buddies, his mental health, and how he views storytelling from the war. This book is for readers who are interested in how wars impact people's psychology and their lives after the war. I'll give this book a 7 out of 10. Overall, the book is about Tim's time in, before, and after the war. He talks about an instance he carried during elementary and shares the story of his friend Linda, who he was in love with. He also shares his stories as well as his buddies Kiowa, Rat, Azar, and Norman's stories and experiences in hopes to revive and make good on the silence that they carried after the war. He brings them back into the present to share the horror, the responsibility, and the grief that they all carried. One passage that stood out to me was, "I did not look on my work as therapy and still don't, yet when I received Norman Bacher's letter, it occurred to me that the act of writing had led me through a swirl of memories that might otherwise have ended in paralysis or worse. By telling stories, you objectify your own experience, you separate it from yourself, you pin down certain truths, you make up others, you start sometimes with an incident that truly happened, like the night in the ship field, and you carry it forward by inventing incidents that did not in fact occur, but that nonetheless help to clarify and explain." This is the way that Tim copes, by telling stories, and a lot of his war buddies didn't understand how they should cope, which just led to them being in a circle of depression and overwhelming grief that they didn't know how to carry because of the responsibility they thought they had. But with the repetition that Tim uses, it really breaks down the events and how it, in the end, it wasn't any of the soldiers' fault. It was just the war. The author uses first-person limited point of view because he is relying on his memories and personal experiences he had. Tim uses lots of repetition to make the story emphasize on the traumatic events that occurred as well as experiences that him and his war buddies had during the war. This story is a sliding door for me because it changes how I personally view veterans and the PTSD that they hold. It helps me be a lot more patriotic, supportive, and understanding towards people who share their stories as a way to cope. And that's my book talk. Thanks for watching.